Hi, this is Dr. Vicki from Outing Scum. And what I need to tell you today is about the testing and what happened to me in my own divorce case. Testing is not cheap. It runs between $3,000 and $6,000. And the reason that people have testing is to find out what is the kind of pathology that has existed in the marriage and how does it affect the future in terms of the couple's separation and also specifically in child care. What will happen with the children? How will this affect them, and how do we use the testing? Well, in my case, the testing was done, and I found many things incorrect about the care that I received from psychiatrists and psychologists. The greatest aspect that was unusual was the findings of the psychiatrist who did the interviews of my children and myself and my ex-spouse. Mr. X, we'll call him, because he's a big X. And the doctor was Dr. Clifford Montgomery. And Dr. Clifford Montgomery reported to this LA Superior Court in my divorce case to Judge Evita Bob that it was known that my ex, Mr. X, was a known pervert. Now, photographs had been sent to the court and information had been given to the court earlier that he was a pervert. But at the time, this was back in like 1999, 2000, even up to 2003, there was this attitude that perversion was something you really didn't talk about in upper class families or families that had professionals in them. I was a doctor, he was an attorney. It was something that no one wanted to approach or talk about. So Dr. Clifford Montgomery totally disregarded anything my youngest daughter said at all, and only listened to the oldest daughter, who was profoundly influenced by money and threats and fear. It was terrible, the things that she went through. My youngest daughter was pretty feisty, and she was more influenced by the bad behavior of her father, Mr. X. So Clifford Montgomery writes to the court that it is known that Mr. X is a known pervert and has psychopathic behavior. Well, on the testing, it's a character disorder, narcissism, psychopathic behavior, psychopathic liar, antisocial behavior. Now, all those things are pretty bad and basically describe a con man, someone who's a cheater, liar, someone who's never going to change because they have a character disorder. Had I known what I needed to know, had I had those tests done before, I would have never married Mr. X. Never, ever, ever. No one would have married or even dated Mr. X had they known these aspects of his behavior. So in court, this document exists and the judge says nothing and does nothing. And the psychiatrist puts the report in. Mr. X is a known pervert. However, that does not mean he can be a good parent. If you're leaving S&M magazines and newspapers and cards with pictures of nude women around your house for small children to see, if you're leaving bondage photos and you leave your computer on with heavy-duty S&M, that's a perversion, but it's beyond a perversion. It's a criminal act because you're imposing it on your own children, imposing it, pushing it on your children. That is sick. It is evil. And the judge did nothing, and no one, even the medical board didn't even find this was unusual. So I had to go the next step, which I'll tell you about. I went the next step, but this is the kind of lack of morality and ethics that we have within the court system. How can a psychiatrist state on the record that a man is a known pervert? That does not mean that he he can't be a parent. I mean, he's a psychopath, he's a liar, he has a character disorder. I mean, where is he going to get the knowledge to be a parent from? He didn't have it himself with a character disorder. His upbringing didn't have it. He had pathological behavior. This does not make someone a good parent. It doesn't make an average parent. It makes a bad parent. And time will tell that all of this that I'm telling you here in my book Taboo will tell you everything in detail. So the courts were negligent. They did wrong. They didn't interact. And when I gave document after document, no one did anything. And I'll tell you more about that in our next segment on outing scum. I'll tell you about Cheech Marin. Stay tuned for what the Cheech was up to and what the courts failed to do and what the system failed to do. More about psychiatrists and psychologists and their failures too. This is Vicki Huffnagel from Outing Scum. This is part of the Huffnagel Bioethics Media Institute, bringing you ethics and truth. Stay tuned.